day after April Fools. First of all, I want to say I'm actually surprised with most of you. A lot of you actually fell for that. I remember when I was talking to Wendell about this and I was saying we should do an April Fool's thing. He's like, no one's going to fall for that. Well, I guess some people did,
I
but
wish that last part of what I said, like there was something I said after we said April Fools, where I was like, "Oh, I'm hearing that Japan is doing their own quote unquote GoBots, a Machine Robo movie, and then that's gonna count as the second movie. Then the third movie of the two is gonna be a crossover where they go into each other's universes." I
Machine
think that would have
Robo
been pretty.
X GoBots.
Yeah, exactly. So I thought that would have been a very funny add-on to it, but
Speaking of April Fool's stuff, it seems that the day after April Fool's, a piece of news surfaced, and it made a lot of people question if it was legitimate or not. But on Hasbro Russia or the Russian Transformer webpage, the same location on their Facebook part where the Power of the Primes Rekar originally was surfaced from, there was another image. And so it was an image of what seems to be a leader class Power of the Primes Optimus Prime, but painted all in black, like a Nemesis Prime, or a Scourge, or a Black Convoy, whatever you would want to call it. And it has like it's just him busting through a piece of packaging, and it says in Russian at the bottom, "Spring is coming," or "Becha lekoso," or whatever it's. I tried. The only reason why I know is because I actually translated the bottom because I was worried that that Russian that was written on the bottom was said April Fools, so I had to make sure first. But it actually just says "Spring is coming," and they just showed this interesting black repaint of leader class Power of the Primes Optimus Prime with a whole bunch of new stuff all over him and a new head sculpt. And what was interesting about the head sculpt was a friend of the podcast, an awesome dude, Joshua Perez. He mentioned how the head looked extremely similar to that of the old subscription service fun publication 3.0 Toxitron. And when I kind of did some double backing looking back, it's uncanny how accurate it is. And I'm actually going to post a picture in the segment of the podcast here to just show how close the heads are. It's almost the exact same head sculpt. I wouldn't be surprised if it is the exact same head sculpt. So it has a new head on it, but the not only thing that's different on it, not just the head, is the weapons and accessories here.
yeah.
Um, the weapons that he has on his wrists, if you will, are very reminiscent to that of, let's say, Armada Optimus Prime, where he
I
had
was
these
I was gonna say also
Power Master.
yeah, Power Master for sure.
I think I want to say Armada Optimus Prime just because of just like people who are familiar with Armada Optimus Prime's design, where he had these like double mounted wrist cannons, where Power Master Prime was more on the shoulders.
hmm But
So
I think you were able to put it on his well, it's on the shoulders, but I think you can also just put them in the fists as well. But yeah, it was definitely more so the shoulders.
yeah, so it's just like I don't know. Part of me feels like, is this going to lead to maybe, 'cause sometimes there's a repaint within the repaint. But so you have these two like wrist cannon things. That's the first thing to notice aside from the new head. The other thing that's worth noticing, this is the one that's even more like looking into it more deeper, is he comes with two swords. But what's weird about this sword is that if you look on in his left hand, which is on the right side of the image, one of the swords near the hilt of it, it has kind of a bird face on the end. And the speculation is that maybe the swords combine to make some kind of bird creature,
Mm.
similar to say of like the Arms Micron stuff, but it's clearly not the Arms Micron
Oh,
mold.
okay, yeah.
So there's that exists, which is very interesting. And I mean, it's a very weird thing. Once again, just like the Rekar, comes out of nowhere from a source that isn't like an official source per se. Um, and people are wondering, well, where we already know the case assortments leading up to the end of the Power of the Prime line. Where does this exist? One speculation that I have, and a lot of people I'm pretty sure were thinking the same thing, is this could be a San Diego Comic-Con exclusive coming.
Oh.
And the only reason why I think this is it would not be the first time. It would not be the second time. It would not be the third time that an SDCC exclusive was a Black Optimus Prime toy. As far back as I can remember, the Nemesis Prime alternators which came out in 2007, long after the line was already done in America. They did the Optimus Prime of the pickup truck from Alternators in black, and they called it Nemesis Prime. Then they did for the classics mold for San Diego Comic-Con, black repaint, Nemesis Prime. Then they did the whatever's called Shreddimus Optimus Prime, whatever, the skateboard one that we had, of the Power Master for Titan's Return. Same thing, a black repaint. So already they've done it 3 times, and I know I must be forgetting something, but it's like those are the 3 off the top of my head.
I think you already gave 3 examples. I think you're pretty good.
Yeah. So a leader class toy, especially on top of that, where we kind of know the case assortments thus far. Like the black Rodimus is going to be in a case assortment, shipping with Rodimus again. So Rodimus Unicronus and Rodimus Prime are going to be shipping in a case assortment. And then the final case assortment is going to be Rodimus Unicronus and Optimus Primal. So we already know the case assortments for the leaders up until the end of Power of the Primes. This clearly isn't probably going to be something part of the War for Cybertron line that's going to be starting afterwards. So this is probably going to be some kind of exclusive. And if I had to take a guess, probably SDCC. SDCC exclusives usually are larger items. They don't really do the smaller deluxe items anymore. They used to. Like I remember when they did the zombie cliff jumper, but this isn't the case. So it could be one of many things, but I think this is going to be some kind of exclusive, retooled, repaint, SDC exclusive. And it's pretty darn cool. I mean, we knew something like this was going to be coming. We just didn't know in what shape or form. But the fact that it has new weapons and
I mean, also the fact that they've already done the retool and the repaint of Hot Rod / Rodimus. And we're just kind of sitting here waiting for what they're planning to do with the Optimus version of it,
Yeah, we discussed it I think it was one of our better viewed videos that we have. One of our most viewed videos was us discussing Optimus Prime in the future that was going to be done with that mold, and we were talking about the Ultra Magnus and everything, and about the Ultra Magnus repaint that we would get from this. But then again, it was a given. We said that a black repaint would come at some point. To my knowledge, I mean, I look back at all the previous Optimus Prime toys have existed. I think every single one of them, on an official capacity, has gotten some kind of either black repaint or a dark repaint, like some kind of evil version. I mean, let's see. That was the case with Prime. Actually, I think all of them, even dialing all the way back to G1, every Optimus Prime has had some kind of evil repaint, evil black repaint.
Do you think Nemesis Prime from the best line is going to get a dark black repaint?
Well, I know that there's been quite a few movie
because that one was actually Nemesis Prime.
Well, because
according to the movie continuity,
there's been movie Prime toys that got
the black repaint. Yeah, exactly.
But they'd always get names like I think it was like Night Watch Optimus Prime or Shadow Strike. Like they'll always give like some wacky name. And the Japanese side of thing, I'm pretty sure there was some black repaint ones. I know I'm looking at a few movie Primes that I have that are leader classes that were done in those darker color schemes, but they weren't identified as Nemesis Prime. They were just identified as other weird repaints. But again, it's something that's such a common thing that it's no shock that yet again there's going to be another one. I think the only reason why we didn't get actually, no, we technically did get an evil version with Toxitron, if you think about it, from the Combiner Wars one. And then if you want to even count, considering it came from a Menasor toy, or more specifically Motormaster, it's already kind of an evil Prime in itself right there. But the point is that this was kind of expected. We just wanted to address it. Is it an April Fool's thing? I don't think so. I think, it's a day after the fact. It's a little late to be saying it's an April Fool's thing. It comes from the same source where that Rekar came from, so that kind of gives it a little more legitimacy too. The head sculpt that's used on it, if it was someone who was doing an April Fool's thing, I think it's kind of crazy for them to go out of their way to take that head sculpt out of nowhere, like to dig that head sculpt up and use that to make it even more fake. I mean, again, I'm going to show the side-by-side comparisons to show how accurate this really is. And again, the new accessories, it seems like a lot of work for an April Fool's joke. seems like it seems a lot more legitimate. But yeah, that's just something we just wanted to talk on.